So Mickey Haller is back, and the Lincoln Lawyer Season 2 Part 1 is back with a bang. I absolutely love this series. I was a little bit apprehensive going into it as I loved the movie, but I have to say, this series is becoming a brilliant legal drama, and I think Manuel Garcia-Rulfo's portrayal as the iconic Mickey Haller character is actually really, really good. He's such an expert and a real smooth operator, and reminds me a lot of James Bond and Bruce Wayne, as he has all of those brilliant characteristics in abundance. And I really love the way in which they set out this series in terms of having little mini trials that he has to deal with, along with having bigger storylines taking place at the same time. And I just think those mini ones were really, really good. For example, the graffiti artist, how he used an influencer to completely turn the tables. So not only is the shopkeeper going to drop the charges, but actually this graffiti artist is now going to get royalties from all of her sales. And I just think Mickey Haller is just an absolutely iconic character and is just so good at his job. I was a little bit gutted that the Russell Lawson case didn't go on for longer, as that was true Lincoln Lawyer through and through, in terms of, you know, this guy seeming to be really innocent. And of course, Mickey Haller is going to get him off his charges in an incredibly brilliant way. But then Russell Lawson completely turns the table on him. And actually, this is the guy that is the true murderer. On another case that Mickey Haller is defending, I think it was just so brilliant how Russell Lawson really did trap Mickey. And I just loved how that episode ran. The first episode of Season 2 Part 1, I have to say, was structured in such an incredible way, as at the beginning, it kind of feels like Mickey Haller is so untouchable, as he is just being really successful from his brilliant case in the first season, and the press love him, all the women love him, everything is just seeming to go so perfect for him. And then as the episode is transpiring, things are being really successful from a case lawyer perspective, but then right in the final few moments, Russell Lawson, like I said, is able to turn the tables on him, which was just so good. It is a little bit of a shame, I think, that they just completely wrapped it up in the second episode, and I think how he got out of it was really, really clever, and it did remind me a little bit of Edward Norton and the Primal Fear, and Primal Fear and the Lincoln Lawyer are such iconic films, and it was really good how they wove both of them into this second season. And I'm just hoping that we see a little bit more from Russell Lawson, as like I said, he was a really iconic character, and it just kind of continued the thread of what we expect to see, as like I said, Russell Lawson was such a wicked character, and I'm just sure that there is a lot more to that particular storyline. Then we have to talk about Lisa Trumwell, and like I said, that case wasn't as iconic in my opinion as a Russell Lawson one, but it is definitely taking over Mickey Haller's life in a complete way, as it's not only affecting him, it's affecting his daughter, it's affecting Maggie, it's affecting Lorna, it's affecting Izzy. So many characters are being impacted by Lisa, and I just think Lisa is such an interesting character, as when she first came onto the scene, she was clearly using Mickey Haller because of the restraining order that was on her, but then quickly it turned into a bit of a murder investigation, and like I said, Mickey Haller just couldn't help himself, he just had to give in to his temptations, and all of the Lisa trouble that is being caused is just because he wasn't able to control himself, which I think is an interesting lesson. And Mickey's whole entire world is unraveling right in front of him. For example, Henry the podcaster was able to pull the wool over his eyes and was able to take away his contract in terms of having power of attorney over Lisa and not allowing anybody else to have her life rights. But not only that, he was then getting beaten up by the end of the episode, which was just so unbelievable. Mickey would never have been in that situation if it wasn't for the whole Lisa case. And not only that, he had a massive falling out with Lorna as well. And I just think that was just so heartbreaking, as you can literally feel and visibly see how much Lorna has put on the line with all of the constant late nights. And she just literally does love Mickey. She does love her job. She's trying to better herself, but also is really hardworking. And the fact that Mickey was able to just disregard all of that was just unbelievable. Speaking of the Lisa Trumwell case, in terms of who is the person that actually killed that boss guy, I personally do think it was Lisa. I feel like it's going to be very similar to The Undoing, in terms of Hugh Grant's Jonathan character was actually the murderer. So the number one suspect in that show at least did end up being the murderer. And both shows were produced by David E. Kelley. So maybe he might not do the same exact thing, but if she's not exactly the murderer, then I definitely think she's really, really involved. And I think Henry the podcaster just has to be involved as well, as she is just so connected with that character. She brought him into the mix, maybe to have the last laugh on Mickey in terms of, look, the answer was right in front of you and you couldn't even see it. And she's always having side conversations off camera with the Henry character, and I just think it has to come full circle, especially as Henry did see both of these characters getting together. So Henry is definitely going to be involved with this. And the opposing lawyer on the people side is just so good at her job, and you just know that she's got so many ace cards up her sleeve. So it's going to really show Mickey up, and I just can't believe what's going to happen. As Mickey Haller, like I said, throughout this whole season and series really, has been unstoppable and untouchable for the most part, and maybe Lisa is going to be his undoing. So let's see what's going to happen next. Becky Newton is so wicked as Lorna. I absolutely love this character. She is definitely able to stand up for herself, and also you can just see how much she just loves her job and how hard working she is. So I just feel like those final few moments, you could literally feel and understand her response to Mickey, as he was just so insulting, considering the fact that she has just put so much on the line for him. Cisco, very similarly, is also a really, really cool character. I wasn't sure about him at first, but then he really did win me over as the series was progressing. And now he's just such a wicked character, and I think is really, really brilliant. Not only is he the second right-hand man to Mickey Haller, but also all of the biker side storylines were really, really good. It was a little bit confusing at first in terms of what was happening, but then, you know, you could really see it from all of the biker characters' perspectives in terms of this guy is coming off parole, but clearly he's on parole because the FBI have asked him to be a rat for them. And of course, the bikers aren't going to accept this. And Cisco is obviously insisting on this guy coming back into the fold because he was helping Cisco all those years ago. So you can literally see it from all of the different characters' perspectives in terms of this tricky situation. And then it ended up being that this guy was a rat for the FBI. And I think how Cisco dealt with it all in the way that all of the characters are then going to come out on top, apart from the FBI, I think was really, really clever. I got into this series mainly because my favourite actress Neve Campbell was in it, and it's just such a shame that she's just kind of disappeared. Probably because Neve Campbell at the same time was filming Twisted Metal, which is another show coming soon to Peacock, so I feel like that's why she suddenly just disappeared and why her role is significantly decreased from the first season, but hopefully we'll see a lot more from them, as I just love the chemistry between Mickey and with Maggie. So thankfully we don't have that much longer to wait for part 2 to come, and here are my predictions of what's going to happen. So I feel like Lorna and Mickey are going to really quickly resolve their friendship, and maybe Izzy is going to be the person that finds Mickey's beaten up body, which I think is going to be really difficult for her to see. And I just think the Lisa Trummel case is just going to get more and more and more complex, and I just hope that Mickey is able to see that this character really isn't the shining light that he thinks she is. And maybe Mickey is going to be hospitalized for a little bit, and maybe Maggie and Lorna are going to somehow have to help him. As that's one thing I haven't seen at all in this season yet, which is scenes between Lorna and Maggie, and it'd be really cool to see these two characters sharing more screen time, and Lorna might even get married to Cisco in the second part as well. And like I said, I really, really like the character of Russell, and I'm also really growing onto the character of Henry as well. So maybe both of them are going to come up, and maybe they're going to team up, and hopefully we'll see loads more mini trial storylines taking place along with all of these bigger storylines too. So I just can't wait for part 2 to come, but I absolutely love season 2 part 1. I'd love to hear what you thought of it, but I thought it was an absolutely brilliant introduction to this second season. And so for all of those reasons, I'm going to give it a mega 7.5 out of 10. Now I'd love to hear from you. So what did you think of the Lincoln Lawyer season 2 part 1? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section below, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.